Welcome to Highly Animated Podcast. Join us as we talk all things important to us in anime. All right, dude. So now we're recording. First episode 0, Highly Animated Podcast with Spencer here and myself, Jason. We can't wait to get talking about anime. That intro will get cleaned up as we go along. This first episode is going to be really about what got us into anime and all that kind of stuff. So how you doing, Spencer?
Oh, doing good. Late night here. What are we? 11 o'clock on the dot right now, actually.
Yeah, you're correct. 11 o'clock on the dot. So I guess for people that are going to be listening and stuff, they're going to want to know why the fuck it is we're talking about anime and what got us into it. So we'll start with you. What got you into anime?
Oh, shit. I guess it goes back. Well, it got into anime is kind of that's a tricky one, right? Because I didn't really get into it until I guess later on. I guess maybe kind of into high school, getting into college a little bit. Meet other people. Obviously, initially started off, I think, like most people, probably within. Well, I don't want to limit the demographic, but probably what our demographic would be, right? Kind of maybe borderline, early millennials, whatever the fuck's before millennials. Older brother, had an older brother. Older brother watched a lot of anime, right? So early on, sucked into Dragon Ball Z, right? You just, as a kid, you want to hang out with your brother, and my brother watched that shit. So not that shit, but so kind of got into it at that point in time, and then there's a couple other earlier things. You think about it, like fucking He-Man was dope. What else was there? A little later on after that, kind of by myself, started watching Zoids. It was just kind of like
Zoids.
Was that a precursor to Gundam Wing?
That's an interesting
maybe
take.
Around the same time.
I think
I
it
don't
was no. Well, Gundam Wing itself is actually old as fuck, and that's funny that you're relating to that already to what I'm going to get to in a little bit here. But yeah, continue.
Yeah.
Zoids and all that.
So start watching that shit, and then obviously, you start thinking as you're growing up, you get the I don't know. I guess that's a good point. I don't know. Are cartoons ever really considered anime too? You start thinking about
not to me.
Like Adult Swim and shit. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. That shit doesn't count. But then, getting into more what would people consider anime, obviously, right? Became fucking Naruto. Got into Naruto early on, right? I was like, that's pretty badass. Wasn't one of the kids ran around fucking school with their hands behind their back, whatever. But
you weren't running around with your arms around your back around campus?
Nah, dude. Practicing my finger fucking jutsu.
Ninjutsu.
Yeah, that wasn't my thing, but and then little small things in between there. Even too, I guess it doesn't count, right? Last Airbender, I watched that shit too.
Yeah, and see, like that's kind of tough. Like I hear what you're saying now. Like there are some that kind of like transcend and kind of like go both ways, I guess. And I think that's more right because culturally, right? Last Airbender is more culturally aligned with what anime is, right? Where like its origin story and shit's from. So I could see why people say that. But okay, so that was one of the ones too, huh?
Yeah, no, that was a big one early on. Outside of that, there's probably some small things, in between. I'm kind of blanking on maybe what those would have been right now, but
well, when
yeah,
you're blanking on those, oh my bad. No, you go ahead.
Dragon Ball. I was just gonna say Dragon Ball, right?
Oh, come on.
I think for most people, that's the one that gets you in there.
Yeah, no, those are a good couple for sure. We've obviously known each other a long time, so we've talked off air numerous times about all this kind of stuff. For me, right, like you, it was, it's a tricky question to say, hey, I got into anime here, right? Because when I was young, it was right viewed as a cartoon, like something that's very taboo, and you're a nerd, and all this kind of stuff, and right, and back then, right, for us, it was you're playing sports, you're going outside, there's a lot of that stuff. So me and my brother, we got plenty of watching TV and all that stuff growing up. But yeah, in the late 90s, early 2000s, right, was, right when I was in that, 9, 10, 11, 12 range. And yeah, like you said, Dragon Ball Z was something that I knew. I would never say I necessarily watched, but I knew it, and I seen episodes of it, and I liked it, right? But I didn't have the access to watch it all the time, right? But for whatever reason, and probably because the timing, right, on like Toonami and all that stuff was probably on later or whatever time it was on, I didn't see it. But for me, it was, and you already alluded to it earlier, Gundam Wing, Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, which, funny enough, that you're bringing up the, gosh, what show did you say? Zoids?
Yup.
Yeah, so Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, the first one came out in like 79. So, yeah, like the originals were pretty fucking old. But the one that I watched is called Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. It's like 49 episodes long. It looks like, I'm looking at it right here, is in the late 90s. So I was probably watching reruns when I was growing up. But yeah, it was, it's a dope
I was about to
show.
say, no fucking way you got into some fucking anime from the 70s, 80s.
Oh, no, hell. No fucking way. I mean, how long did it take for you to convince me to watch Yu Yu Hakusho? I mean, but yeah,
I fucking showed you that.
no, I know. So I said, how long did it take you to convince me to watch that
yeah.
show because it was old
Right,
style and everything like that? Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, kind of settle down. No, you'll get your credit.
You cut out. Cut out.
And for everyone that's listening, we'll have these moments because I hate to say it, my internet's not what it needs to be right now, and we'll be working on it. So there might be some hiccups there when we're talking, but overall we'll get back on point most of the time, maybe. But yeah, so anime that did it for me, like I said, Mobile Suit Gundam Wing was a big one that I liked, and like you, yeah, I fell off, right? Life, sports, all kinds of stuff. And then yeah, after high school, and then early college, I got back into it. And it's kind of funny is how did you watch it? How did you watch anime back in those days?
High school?
No, like high school, early on when we first started, before we started watching Crunchyroll and Funimation.
Fucking websites.
How much of a pain in the ass was that, dude? That's what I was alluding to.
You try to watch it, pop-up comes up, X out of the pop-up, try to start it up again, another fucking pop-up, go back, refresh, pop-up, like, god damn it, go through 5 pop-ups before you even get to watch the shit.
I hope we get some viewers fucking listeners that, over time, or people that are like anime fans, because they're going to totally understand that shit. Like, if you tell me you're an anime fan and you don't say what you said right there about the X and the popping out and all that bullshit, like, you're not a real fucking anime fan. The struggle was real back in the day before, these titans, Crunchyroll and Funimation, all that shit has mostly everything, right? We talk about it, how like one will have subbed and not the dubbed, but something else will. So obviously that's a lot of contracting or contracts, excuse me, and stuff like that. But what got you back, all the way on board, like where you were watching more consistently? Like what were the first couple shows, if you can remember, or just in general, why, what made you get back into it?
Oh, early on shows, finally kind of started getting back into it. Well, I mean, I think a lot of it too, like for me personally, like the time stopping wasn't necessarily, I think you kind of mentioned, right, you get that gap where, like, because for me, when I was watching Dragon Ball Z with my older brother, that was like I was still pretty young, and then obviously, you said like, oh, you're the fucking nerd watching that shit. For me, it was a little bit different because it's like, you idolize your older brother. I'm like, fuck, dude, my older brother and his friends watch this shit. Like, this shit's dope, dude.
That's true. Yeah, I was the oldest.
And for me, it was a little bit easier because they were so much into it, so into it. Like, they were getting I don't even know where the hell they were getting money from. Somehow they're getting money. They're getting VHS tapes from fucking Japan, wherever the fuck that shit was coming from. And all of a sudden be like, oh, we got the new one, right? We go downstairs, pop that shit in the fucking. Maybe people don't even remember VHS anymore, right? You pop that shit in there. We're watching that on the TV downstairs, and yeah, So from my aspect, it wasn't probably until I don't know, maybe like into elementary school, like going into middle school, where it's like you kind of started to get that separation between like, oh shit, okay, hey, this isn't stuff that I let other people know about because this is not gonna
This
this is
will
not gonna
label
be the
me
right kind of
forever.
look for yeah, for what I need to put out right here. And
Yeah.
then fortunately for me too, I was a big kid. Like when I was getting out of elementary school, going to middle school, I'm like the same size now as I was then. So at that point in time, it was like, all right, yeah, we're not gonna fuck with this guy. It was like, oh, Billy Badass. But um, I think even too beyond that, I was always into gaming. This
Oh
is
yeah,
another
me
thing,
too.
picked up from my brother, and
Hmm.
then so like a big thing for us, right, was like, the RPGs, JRPGs. You're talking about like all the Square Enix games, the Final Fantasies, the fucking Chrono Triggers, and that in itself has like an anime aspect to it. I guess just because of, again, maybe like you said, where it's originating from.
Yeah, the
So,
culture behind Final Fantasy isn't that a Japanese like origin game?
I don't know the
That's
history behind
different
that shit,
topic,
but I
different
mean,
topic. But I think it
yeah, yeah.
is. I think it is. But continue. My bad.
But yeah, and so you kind of pick it up to that where it's like, hey, this is still just something I like, in and of itself. And then and then there was I had other friends too that I'm even still friends with to this day from back then. That was like, we kind of bonded over that shit, and and it was like, in that sense, it was a little bit more acceptable. And then like you said, as you kind of get more into, it's not that I was hiding it. I don't think, it's just I kind of fell off of watching it because then my interest shifted more
Absolutely.
so, so
Yeah.
then it's like, oh hey, you find sports, start playing ball. It was just like, okay, hey, well,
Music, other
yeah,
stuff.
now I'm
Yeah.
into my team. I'm into football. I'm into watching the games, right? I'm
I'm into
playing. I got
cussing
my
out my
own games and
parents. I
shit.
don't give a fuck about
Yeah,
life. Yeah, yeah,
all that other stuff in between. So it's like it kind of fell by the wayside. More so, I think, because the access wasn't early then.
Oh
It
yeah.
wasn't
No,
super
big time.
easy to get it now, right? And so I think until that point in time, it wasn't probably until I got into high school really where Naruto was the shit, and it was already pretty decent way into that by the time I started watching it. And kind of full circle at that point in time, I started watching it with my little brother. So then it was kind of a bonding thing for my little brother and I. And then
Nice.
we watch all the shows, the current episodes. We watch the fucking movies, right? Be like geek out on that. Should be like, oh my god, dude, that was so fucking sick, And
Yeah,
so
me and
that
my
was
little
really
brother weren't
cool.
tight like that.
Yeah,
My little
yeah.
brother fucking
Well,
hated me.
well, now we're flip side, right? I'm in that situation now, right? But
No, it is
um,
funny because we're direct flip now. Me and my brother, I mean, I wouldn't say we're tight, but we're solid for sure. That's funny.
yeah. So,
Okay.
and then outside of that, it's like, I don't know. After that, obviously, so I went to college, moved out right after high school ended, moved out right away, went to school,
Did you meet any
lived on
cool
the
people
dorms
in
for.
college?
Cool people? Oh,
Yeah.
fuck. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. There was, meet all kinds of people.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. My bad. I was just curious.
Yeah, yeah. Just chill out, dude. Um, but yeah, and then so I guess in high school then, or fuck high school, college then, it all kind of came back around where it's like living in the dorms, living by yourself, kind of do whatever the fuck you want.
Hmm.
Got to the point, I don't even remember what it was, if it was something specific, but at some point in time I was like, I think it was actually because the first 2 years in the dorm I lived with Kyron, and then so it
Yeah.
was like, oh hey, he's kind of was into certain stuff too, right? He's not obviously full blown or watches it like we watch it,
Yeah.
but he's also Dragon Ball Z fan, right? And then so we actually ended up, it was like, oh hey dude, like fuck, we should rewatch all this shit, this shit's badass, right? And then so then we ended up fucking watching all the way from Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball fuck GT, Kai, whatever the fuck, or I think there was like similar ones or something. and
Yeah. The
then
Kai
uh
one. Yeah.
and then
It's
for
like
me,
no
it was like from
canon.
that point, I was like, yeah, I was like, oh shit, this is kind of cool. And then so at that point, we kind of stopped watching it together, and then I kind of just started watching a couple other things. I didn't really get heavy into it. I was probably still pretty light on it until I met you, and then I think the big one at that point in time when I was in college that had came out that was like the fucking shit. That was when like Attack on Titan first came out.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So it was like
Yeah, that is when
even
it came out.
even guys on the football team were like they were like, "Oh fuck, dude! They're talking about Attack on Titan. People are blowing up fucking Facebook and all the social media shit. Like, oh, you don't no spoilers, no spoilers." And I didn't even watch it initially. It wasn't probably until like a year or so later after that, because at that point in time, still heavy into the game, right? That's NCAA was still out, fucking jamming on that shit like every day. Lifestyle, was kind of like, hey, school, football, get blazed up, drink, party, and that was just kind of the routine for a
Oh, I remember
while.
those
And then,
days. Oh yeah.
yeah, and then again, then I met you, and it was kind of we had the similar thing, in all aspects, sports, teams, fucking football, games, and then at some point in time, I don't know, anime popped up.
Yeah, it did. No, you're right. I mean, that's what I was going to lead with. Taking the mic away from you for a second here. I love the length of your conversation there. I was a little concerned when we first started this podcast. I'm like, man, is this guy gonna be able to get going on rants? But look at you. I'm just, I'm proud of you, man. But to continue talking about the anime and what got us into it and all that, for me, like you said, it's very, very similar. I think that's why me and you connected on it, right? Because we kind of went through a similar path on that. I got out of high school. Obviously, mine and your connection, Jackson, both are great friends, and he played football with you at Menlo. And for me, that's how I met you, right? And
Hey, don't be fucking name dropping.
Oh, you already said Kyron. So, anyways, I was just waiting for you.
I don't mean people's personal names.
Okay, Jack. My bad. Our boy Jack.
The Jackson's fine. They're not gonna be able to.
Oh, because he did change it. That's right.
With that,
That's
right?
true. That's true. That's true.
That's what you said after that.
Yeah, because people can't just search up anything nowadays based on the littlest things we say. But okay, I digress. But yeah, when I met you, like you said, I don't really remember what triggered me to get back into anime. It was just, those fond memories, and like, it's just, it's cool, man. Like, I never understood the taboo around, at the age I understood, right? But like, as we gotten older, right, and we've talked about this plenty of times, especially in my line of work, right, and seeing how it's just changed so much culturally, right? So for me, I got, Naruto was kind of there. It was Dragon Ball again. Like I was like, oh man, I never really watched it. So I like went on to Pirates Bay and LimeWire, and I'm fucking downloading every episode I can, corrupting the fuck out of my poor mom's laptop and telling her I'm using it for other bullshit. And I rewatched all the Dragon Ball Z, all that. And then, I think we met and we, somewhere we just kind of talked about it one time. And then, what are we? Fuck. It's 2022. That was when did we meet? 8-9 years ago now?
Shit. Yeah, that must have been like 2011, 2012.
Right. So it's, 10 years, And ever since then, we one show after another, exchange ideas and all that. I mean, I got the biggest clout because I told you guys to watch One Piece, so I could just stop right there and be good to go. But yeah, no, there's tons that we went back and forth, and I think I'll go out on a limb here and speak for both of us that One Piece is both our favorite and number one anime. Which
easy.
Which kind of brings me to another. We'll phase out of that because I think it gives people kind of what got us into it and why, and then we meet, right? And funny enough, you ruined my night the other week by making me download My Anime List and this app.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
And, if My Anime List is listening out there, or anyone that becomes a listener and uses that, I want it to be on record saying that how in the fuck is One Piece not number one? I do not understand this race. I don't even, where was it on the list? It's so far down on the list. It is mind-boggling. I mean, there's a lot that I could nitpick about that app. But to your understanding, the reason I downloaded it, right, that's and when I was looking at the App Store, that's the number one app out there for rating anime shows, essentially, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's pretty much the go. I think that's the go-to. That was my understanding.
Yeah, when I look at the ratings and everything, like, in the App Store, right, you can see all the kind of popularity. It is definitely head and shoulders above everything. And I guess to be a little more fair to it, right, it's largely based on the manga or manga, however the fuck you pronounce that shit. Excuse me, I won't be disrespectful. It's manga, correct?
You used it on the app? I didn't even realize there was an app for it. I just did it on the website.
Yeah, so I mean, you probably get a little more in depth, like always, when you go on a desktop version of something. But
well, I was doing mobile version. I was doing it at work.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, oh God, like we could sit here and go through the list and talk about some of these shows, and I'm just like, how is this rated above? A One Piece,
Yeah, I
fuck,
can't.
even a Naruto.
What's the number one on that shit? What's the number
I'm
one?
gonna go on my phone right now. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Tell me what the number one is on that. And I
And
mean,
maybe
as far as we're concerned, yeah, there's got to be. I mean, everybody's got their own top list, right? Own top 5, top 10, 20, 25, whatever, right? But I think universally there's some shows that just kind of transcend the genre, I guess you could say, right? Like I mean, One Piece, dude. There's One Piece. What was it, 97, 98 or some shit? Like that should have
98.
been around for days. Yeah, like even when we first started watching that shit, yeah, and that was pre Funimation. Obviously for us, Crunchyroll didn't come along until a little bit later on, or a couple years later on. But even prior to that, right, it was just trying all those sites. Oh, well, hey, One Piece episode something free, and try all the websites till something works. Well, there's a couple websites that we use predominantly, but I can't remember.
Yeah, definitely. Well, as I'm looking at this My Anime list, I might have to backtrack a little bit, but it's not this, like, I don't know, I have issues with how they set this up. So, like, when I'm on it right now, maybe I have to be on the desktop version to look at their entire list, because right now all I'm getting is you can only click on the fall 2022 season. So when you hit, like, it says TV new, TV continued, ONA, OVA, movie special. When you hit TV continued, while you're looking it up to be the better producer, TV continued highest rated show on this is One Piece at 8.67.
Okay, so I pull it up, and I pull it up on the website, and the top anime, all anime, number one's Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah, that's what it was when I saw it. Okay, I don't know why I can't look at it like that.
And even still, I think you got to take some of this with a grain of salt. It's saying only 3 million people have voted on that, and obviously
3 million pieces of shit that didn't vote for One Piece in my book.
Well, and I mean, yeah, that too. But I'm saying it from the standpoint of probably like I guarantee there's a gang more people that have watched that show, like that show. This is just you're counting on people who are like going out there to make lists and whatnot. And then even too, right here, fucking I keep forgetting the new Bleach is out there. Bleach is number
highly
2,
rated. Mm-hmm.
but Bleach only has just fucking under 300,000 people. It's 284K on there. But yeah, then you start getting down a little bit. I mean, it's Kaguya-sama, I don't know, I guess it's some slice of life shit. Steins Gate, heard of that one. That one's supposed to be pretty good. Then you got Gintama as number 5. So
which we were talking about last night.
Right there.
Yeah.
But I mean, you go out a little farther, top 10. Next is going to be Attack on Titan, it looks like. What is this? Gintama movie. Number 10, Hunter x Hunter. So let me see.
This is
on this shit?
So I think maybe, as we start to put these episodes together, maybe a decent place to start would be to put our top list together.
Oh, word! I mean, I'm about it, and maybe this is because it's more recent. I don't know, but I've still yet to come across One Piece. But 27 is Kingdom.
Right. Oh yeah, we know you're about that. See, like I was telling you right before we got on here about the Scar on the Parader anime, right? And I said I got 3 minutes in and I couldn't fucking watch it anymore. Like the anime, they're trying to take anime and put it with real life. I don't know. And it's like, right, we talked about Kingdom. How fucking bad is that first season's animation? I mean, for how big time of a show it is.
Dog shit. Dog
Dog
shit.
shit, right? It was hard to watch. Like when you told me to watch that,
But
2 years ago or
I
whatever it
mean,
was, I was like, ugh, I don't
it was
know.
not. You're right. You're right. No, you're right. It was bad. It was bad CGI or whatever
Yeah,
the
not
fuck
the
it was.
story or anything, just how it
But
looked.
but because of the story, you were able to get past that.
Yes,
You're
and
like,
that's how
okay,
good that
I can
show
kind of see how
is.
they're building this up. Yeah, I can. I like where it's going. I like
Exactly.
the setting and the period this is all in and what's happening with it. But yeah, so finally, I'm coming down this line. One Piece finally pops up on top anime list, number 50 fucking 8.
Go fuck yourself, my anime list. Whoever is, you know what? I'm gonna look it up right now. I'm looking it up right now. Who made this, dude? My anime
And then again,
list. I can't
what was that?
fucking
What
believe
did I say?
that.
3 million for Full Metal
Garrett
Alchemist?
Geisler. Hey, Garrett Geisler, if you ever come across this, I want to let you know your fucking app sucks. Okay?
Yeah, fuck you,
Sorry.
Garrett. Fuck you, GG. Yeah,
Right.
GG to
GG.
you, Garrett.
I cut you off there, though. Continue, my bad. But yeah, Garrett Geisler. If anyone knows this guy, let him know what we think. 55, One Piece, 1998.
58.
58, sorry. Fucking.
But yeah, so 58, and it's only been rated by 2 million people. So like 1 million some change more people have voted on and wanted to talk about and say that Full Metal Alchemist is so much better than One Piece is.
See, I can't wait until we actually start to,
I'd
build
be
this
like,
channel and have people
yeah,
comment.
I'd be like, hey, I think they started kind of pretty similar timing too. I think that was like an early 2000 show when it first came out.
Yeah, it is. You're right.
And hey, to be fair, I can't necessarily knock it because I have not watched Full Metal Alchemist.
Me either. And I've heard great things. So I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I know the basic
it
premise.
won't be better than One Piece.
I know there's some people that were dope about it, and you got fucking the brothers are alchemists, and you got the one who's a robe or a knight or something, and or not a real knight, but his body's a knight.
It reminds me, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of a character you're good with when we played video games in Smite of, what was her name? When she had Aegis come out? Hera? Was it Hera?
Oh, yeah.
That's what
yeah.
that shit reminds me of, like her big brother, little, armored suit. Anyways, yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah,
I've heard the premise. It sounds
absolute
good.
dog shit though, as far as ratings concerned.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was to say some of these shows in between, like you would have never, we would never have heard of them. I mean, some of them, yeah, for sure, right? Like
just because you've heard of something though doesn't make it good. You know what I mean? Like that's something I struggle with, right? Like you want to be heard. Like if you know the name, it's like, well, you know it for a reason,
and
right? But...
yeah, and to be fair, this could be a little bit skewed because now that I'm looking at it, like one of the shows as a 53, there's some show called Great Teacher Onizuka, and it is rated from a star standpoint higher than One Piece.
There's
but
no way.
It has significantly less people who have voted for it. So only 750,000 people have voted for that, but that just means it's diluted, right? So the star rating is higher because less people have watched it and voted for it, but of the people that did, it averaged a higher star number than the one that that One Piece is getting.
We need to get these people in the comments and
which then maybe we got to do some apologies to Garrett. That maybe that's not Garrett's fault. That's some other dumbass fuckers out here watching this shit.
Old Gary Boy. Old Gary Boy is going to have to answer because, I mean, I hear what you're saying, though, because I'm kind of thinking about it and kind of like regular TV and movies, right? You watch something, you're like, oh, man, that's badass. And you go Rotten Tomatoes, you're like, that was the worst movie ever. Or Lord of the Rings. We're talking about this not too long ago, too, right? Lord of the Rings, one of the worst rated shows out there. And I'm like, are you fucking high?
Rings of Power.
Sorry, excuse me. Thank you. On Amazon, Rings of Power, the show about Lord of the Rings, or the second Middle Age.
Sponsor.
Plugs. Let us know. We got you guys. But yeah, the second age of Middle Earth and all that, right? And I thought the story was great, right? And you too, right? We loved it and we thought it was great. And everyone out there is like, it's awful. It's the worst. And I'm like, those are the people that read the books and all that. So I can see how these people are like, maybe they're the anime snobs, not us, even though me and you, we got some pretty high and mighty opinions of the stuff that we like and why we like it. But it must be that, right? I think it has to be like, and right, we don't know how many people are voting. Yeah. No, for sure.
Especially too, you start thinking. I mean, you can think of even outside of anime. You see some of those like crazy fucking Japanese game shows and.
Oh yeah, no, they are getting risque for sure. Yeah, very sexualized. I know what you mean. A lot of videos. I've seen a lot of short videos and stuff like that.
But yeah, for me personally, I'm never gonna complain about some big titty bitches hopping on the show. Shit, I just watched a crazy ass one. This shit's it's like low key. It's like a porn or not a porn. What do they call it?
Hentai.
Hentais.
No? Yeah, hentai.
Yeah. That's what they are. And shit, what was it? It was like it was one of those isekai ones where it's like dude goes back and then he saves a slave girl. Fuck, what was that? What's that fucking show called?
So I gotta have your Crunchyroll up on a tab, dude, on the side, dude.
Yeah, dude. No, that's a good point. But yeah. So, anyways, it's super hardcore. Like, dude is like second episode, dude's fucking making out with his slave that he just got, and he's like couple the next episode they're literally like, he's like, yeah, you're gonna suck me off and you're gonna
what?
play with your tits. Yeah,
oh
dude, it's crazy.
My god.
Like it's straight up. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's straight up porn.
Wow.
Or not porn. Hentai.
Come on, man, get it right. Jeez.
Harem in the Labyrinth.
Harem
of another.
There's the name. World. There it is again. Harem, dude. Yeah. I'm telling you, dude. It is a feature.
True, that's true. But even still, like, I mean, it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best show, right? But it wasn't like, oh my god, this is absolute dog shit. I mean, it was pretty fucking like, story wise, like, oh, this is super basic. It's gonna happen the entire time. Character, or whatever, just kind of But I finished it. Like, oh, okay, And then, anyways, yeah. But towards the end, I mean, for the most part, he's just focusing on his one bitch. But by like episode 6, 7, he's got like 3 of them, and then he's only got the 3 until like the last 2 episodes. And all of a sudden, the episode before that, he got like 4 of them, right? And they're all doing the same shit. He's out here gangbanging with his fucking his new harem. I'm like, oh fuck, dude, must be nice to be this guy.
So you're a fan of the harem? It sounds like I mean, I'm with you. Who doesn't like a big titty chick?
I got no problem with it. I got no problem with it. I mean,
I just think that the constant callback.
It's a bonus, good story. I'm looking for a good story. Looking for some action. Looking for some savagery. Looking for big titty bitches.
All that. I said I'm with all that, and then he said that. I'm like, and I mean, I'm not with that. I'm just like I said at the very beginning of it. There are plenty of harem based or whatever that I'm like, yeah, you're right. The story's badass. It's savage.
What's your classification of a harem then?
3 or more chicks doting over a dude, like ridiculously, like just like they're.
One Piece is a harem. One Piece is a harem. Then you don't like that?
No, what? Robin and Nami and who?
You Boa, fucking Hancock, dude.
Oh, that's all side shit. I didn't even watch that. You were trying to convince me to watch that. I skipped it. I'm good.
Watch what?
Those little special episodes in between about what's her name on is that who you're talking about, the girl that can sing or whatever, that's in the newest movie?
No, that's some nah, dude, that's
no, she was, yeah, you're right, I'm sorry, Boa, yes,
yeah,
you're right, but she's never how long have we since you've seen her?
Alta. She's part of the new movie one, but
okay,
nah, dude, but Boa Hancock, she's
where has she been? When's the last time you've seen this fucking bitch, dude, in One Piece, dude? Me and you are obviously we're caught up. We're
dude,
hip with the hip crowd.
Oh well, no, I'm beyond you. I've seen her lately.
Yeah,
lately.
You shut your mouth. You just well, thanks for ruining that for me, fucking asshole. Anyways, so
yeah.
I guess 4 then. So how about that? Suck my dick. He doesn't have 4. So there you go. There's my number. 4 chicks doting over him. But no, it's more of the because like Nami and Robin and then they're like they love Luffy, right? They're all a crew and you know what I mean? But it's not like God. Oh yeah, I got Crunchyroll right here. Let's see which one was it? Where's my history at? I was just watching it. Was it? I'm blanking on the show right now. Oh yeah, no, the greatest demon lord is reborn as a typical nobody. So like that one, for example, we talked about it. Good show, good action, solid story, nothing insane. Maybe someday, you know, we'll get into it a little bit more and break it down. But the 2 chicks in that are like overly competing for his affection. You know what I mean? Where it's like I'm like,
Yeah,
oh come on, like that's too much. Like for me personally, you know what I mean? So I kind of like just it's more of a I roll my eyes at. It's not going to ruin a show for me by any means. I just kind of roll my eyes like, geez, here we go. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's kind of my thing that you know I could see a random person that's never watched anime. You know what I mean? They see that and they would get turned off. I think personally.
yeah. Well, no, and I think it's that's true, and that's a fair point. I think, and even when you start talking about us, and when we try to suck other people into it, you know, you try to curate a list for them on what you would, you think they are best going to kind of connect with. And
Mm-hmm.
then, yeah, sure, sometimes you get like some sorry ass people like Jake who are like, I hate this. The voice is annoying. Like, no, 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 right? But then sometimes you get some people like Anthony where it's like, oh, dude, Attack on Titan's fucking badass as fuck. Demon Slayer, badass as fuck.
Yeah, you get Pat on the
And even too,
side. He looked up Cowboy Bebop,
even
loved
with
it.
that,
I was like, yeah.
yo, yeah, no, that's a great point. And he's had a couple other ones too. You know, like that's why I had never seen that before until he brought that up and was talking about it. I was like, oh yeah, I used to love this shit. You know, I love that show. And I was like,
You
oh
didn't
fuck
watch
yeah.
Cowboy Bebop? Really?
Not until then, not until after
Oh
he was like, oh yeah,
wow.
that's my thing. So I didn't watch that anime until
I'm
way later on. I
surprised.
mean, that's an older
Okay.
one too.
It is. Oh yeah, that's one of the original ones I'd say, or
But
original
it's
for
badass,
Webtoon or
I
whatever.
was like, oh
Toonami.
fuck, I'm glad I watched that shit. He had another good one that he recommended. It was like a mob movie or not movie,
No, it was
mob
the.
show.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my God, you're so right. I forgot. Yeah, he did. We'll have to. We'll get back to that. We'll bring that up in the next one and give a little shout out to Pat on that because that
But
was a good anime.
But yeah, so it's like, and even too, when you get certain shows just hit different for certain people, right? Like,
Yeah.
just because Attack on Titan, Demon Slayer were super dope for some people, you get other people who are like, nah, they're just yelling too much, and it's too emotional, and like they can't handle. It's a case by case, kind of a thing, right? Like I think that's with any show, with any kind of movie, right? A little bit outside the wheelhouse, like. Fuck, I haven't even watched Game of Thrones yet, and you guys are all hyped up on
That's
the
yeah.
Dragon show, and like there's
House
prequel,
of
whatever,
Dragons.
and
Yeah, House of Dragons prequel.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, oh, whatever, cool, I was like, I just haven't had I mean, yeah, everybody says it's super badass and shit. I just, fucking,
Doesn't
I
appeal
don't
to you.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It just doesn't.
yeah. It's not that
Yeah.
it doesn't appeal to me. I mean, eventually I watch it and I'll be like, oh, dude, I've been missing out this whole time. Like, hell, this shit is dope. Like, I should have
Sometimes
watched it.
that's
I
the
should have been.
best, dude. You didn't have to struggle every
Yeah.
fucking weekend waiting for the next episode to come out. You got to watch it whenever the fuck you want, binge it and all that.
And at the same time, I'm sitting here, I'm just like, wiener, 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 wiener.
Every meme
So,
fucking about it, just making fun of it. I remember when we were watching you
yeah.
talk hella shit. I'm like, oh my God.
But
That's
flip side, dude, I was super into Spartacus, and Spartacus all about fucking dicks flopping around and fucking bitches and nobody wearing nothing and
yeah,
whatever. That show was badass.
badass as fuck. And I think that's what's funny is that well, I was going to go into here in a second, but the comparison of shows, right? Like we know those shows are badass. A lot of people that they're not even necessarily relatable to us would probably like those shows too, right? Like you said, it's kind of like person by person basis how they feel, but there's still that taboo, right? Because anime is, I think, treated like as a cartoon or whatever it is, or maybe
Like a
it's just
kid thing,
a kid
yeah.
thing.
You're like
Yeah,
the ostracized kid thing. Like, oh, your parents don't
exactly.
love you enough. They just leave you to fucking do whatever you want, right?
Right?
Like,
My dad and mom love me, so I mean, but yeah, so like that's the thing that I think.
you apparently didn't figure that out till you hit college.
Yeah, it took me a long time. I mean, my parents got divorced when I was 5, so let's not rehash bad memories, okay? Um,
Those two
the
bad parents.
yeah, there's some people we know that not as fortunate sometimes, but that's neither here nor there. Um, but that's the thing I think why we wanted to kind of start the show, right? Is that there's this misconception that these shows are nerdy or whatever hot topic word you want to attach to it, that makes it not what it truly is, which is an up and coming, which, I mean, that's funny saying that word, right? Because One Piece has been out since 1998, you know what I mean? But anime itself is more emerging in the North American market than it has ever in the past, 5 years or so. And this is something we've talked about and alluded to over the many, many, many years we've watched anime. And just to, I'm going to have you listen. I'm going to say these two things, okay? These are just descriptions, right? And so this is kind of like for the average listener and person out there that I'm obviously bouncing this off of you, Spencer. When you look at something, right? We talk about this. I think a lot of people do, right? We got such a snapshot kind of memory as a society today. Like you're reading a description to see if you're going to get interested, right? And I alluded to before we got on air, right? That I see a sick ass picture, boom, I'm immediately attracted to it, and I start reading the description. If it has me hooked in, then I'm in, right? And I mean, I'm sure that's pretty much the same for anyone, right? So I went to look at some of these, like, like a movie, for example, like it describing it, which I didn't find the best site for it ever, but like, here's a description. Moody, futuristic sci-fi noirish thriller with stunning visual dazzling effects and a brooding atmosphere about a hard-bodied detective hunting near-human replicants based on the novel Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but right, this is the description of Blade Runner 1982, right? Regarded as a super fucking popular movie, Harrison Ford, if you said Blade Runner 1982, a lot of people would be like, oh yeah, great movie, right? And that's the description of it, right? It's based on a near human detective, right? Then you go to this description, right? And tell me if you can even know the difference right away or not, right? In the distant future, mankind has colonized space with clusters of space colonies at each of the 5 Earth-Moon large points. Down on Earth, the nations have come together to form the United Earth Sphere Alliance. This alliance oppresses the colonies with its vast military might, and it continues going on and on and on. To you,
second one sounds cooler.
Second one sounds cooler, right? And that's an anime. I just read the description for Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. Like, I would keep elaborating and going into right. You know what oh shit is right? Because I just read something to you that sounds interesting enough. I was like, oh, it's cool. It's got space. I mean, right? We're fans
and then the
of
second
Star
I heard
Wars
it was
and all
Gundam
kinds
Wing,
of
I'm like,
stuff.
yeah, okay.
Because that's not an anime that you're really into, exactly. And so that's that's actually, I'm so glad we got that when we're recording, and I did it that way because that's exactly what I'm talking about with people out there. It's like you could read a description and be like, that sounds sick as fuck, but the second you hear it's anime, or in this case an anime that you're not really into, you're like, you know what I mean? And it's like, well shit, like give it a fucking chance. And like, I'll say that right now, hey, give Mobile Suit Gundam Wing a chance, Spencer. Nah, I mean, that's a little extreme. There's too much good anime out there to really watch that, No offense, Mobile Wing fans, but it's definitely not in my I don't even know if it's in my top 20 anymore. No, it's definitely not. I don't even think it's in my top 30 anymore, to be honest. But yeah, I find that kind of interesting. You know what I mean? Like you read the descriptions and how important that is, and then right away, like you say anime, people are like, fuck that.
Yeah, no, that was a good way to get the point across. I think that is very true. That is very true. I think we get a lot of that too sometimes, even when we're trying to explain it to friends and stuff, and be like, "Oh, dude, it's about this, and this is happening. And heads are getting chopped off. People are losing limbs. It's this kind of period setting. It's whatever." Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh shit, okay, and you're like, yeah, it's this fucking anime I've been watching, and then yeah, you get the same thing for like like what I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe I'll check
Okay,
it out.
weirdo, fucking
Yeah.
nerd. Yeah. Yeah, so that kind of stuff trips me all the time. And dude, time flies. We're 50 minutes deep. Can you believe it?
Oh,
50
yeah,
minutes, man.
sure, yeah, sure are.
So, I think, at any point we'll wrap up and talk about maybe what we're gonna do in the next week. I've covered a lot of, what got me into anime and everything like that. And kind of alluded to some of the things we're interested in. Was there anything else that you wanted to mention before maybe, a couple closing statements and what we'll allude to talking about to next episode?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's kind of cop out. If 50 minutes, you might as well have just fucking gone another 10 minutes, so you could hit the hour. But I think for the most part, right, outside of just kind of us, initially, first couple of 10, 15 minutes, whatever it was probably like, okay, who the fuck cares what these guys think? But I think going forward, it's obviously not going to be so much geared, as geared to us and, oh, this is our history and our background. It'll be a lot more focused on, a show, set amount of episodes, whatever, maybe genre, topics,
Yeah, how'd you know our
you
closing statement
know,
wasn't going to be 10 minutes? How dare you say cop out? I dude, we were going to allude to what we're talking about. We can stretch this out 9 more minutes. Can't believe you talk shit
Yeah,
about me like
yeah.
that.
Now that I've
First
said something,
episode.
yeah, yeah, okay. But I think it's good to make sure that that's not just what's going to be the case. I mean, this will be probably similar style to how we talk about it, right? But it'll be more based
Long
on,
form.
oh,
Yeah.
hey, yeah, this episode, like this, kind of this happened, right? Or hey, these are the shows that we're looking forward to. Different topics about more specific based, anime stuff. This was just kind of and I think it was probably more so my idea because I was just thinking about it from the standpoint of like, oh, okay, you get some fucking first episode out here, and they're like, oh yeah, we're talking about anime and shit, and then obviously, outside of name dropping shit, we really didn't talk about much, but
Yeah.
I think going forward, it's good for people to know, and obviously I've not watched any except for half that one episode of that stupid one you sent me, and they were bad mouthing Overlord, so I was like, fuck these guys.
Oh, you mean that? I was like, what is he
I
talking about? Yeah, other
yeah.
anime shows out there. Yeah, other anime
Yeah,
podcasts.
I
Yeah.
haven't watched them. I haven't listened to them. I don't know, what their MO is, how they get people super stoked up on, what they're talking about, why they should even give a fuck about who these nobodies are. But I think, for me, it was just kind of setting the framework for, hey, this is kind of who we are. This is how we feel about it. Here's a brief glimpse at the personalities. If you're about that, sweet. If you're not, whatever, fuck you.
Just about
And
to say, go fuck yourself.
anticipate that anticipate that kind of reaction and anticipation and excitement as we're watching new shows that come out, old shows we haven't seen before. I mean, we've watched a lot of shows, but by no means have we watched fucking 10% of probably what's even out there, right? We've
Oh,
really
not
just
even.
kind of
Yeah.
hit the major stone points, and I would say right now we're kind of just now getting into more like fringe, older stuff, things that are outside the normal wheelhouse.
Yeah, definitely, because we're isekai, shonen jump, right? I mean, that's shit that everyone's fucking into, right? Yeah, for me, I was gonna, say as we're, getting closer and closer to the hour mark and making sure we draw this out. The next episodes, I think maybe for those listening and stuff to elaborate on some of the ones we dropped, name drop. Maybe we should do our list. You know what I mean? Maybe we'll talk and we'll be on Crunchyroll or whatever it is we want on the background, and obviously before we get on air, we'll kind of have some already loaded up and put our list together. You know what I mean? And obviously, I think me and you write One Piece number one, and then we just kind of start going down the list, right? And then maybe we do, I don't know. Everyone does a top 10. Fuck that shit. Let's do a top 15, man. Get a top 15 list of anime, and we could say like maybe we'll differentiate it. You
Well,
know what I
top tens
mean?
are almost even fucking overrated too, honestly, right? Like
Yeah.
if you think about it, like even if One Piece had been finished for like the past 5 years, like maybe right now, fucking My Hero Academia would be number one.
Yeah,
It's kind of dependent on where the seasons are at, what's running super long, right? It's top tens are hard because it's more based on like it's the same shit you think about a music list, right? You know, oh the top 100 Billboard and shit, and
it's
like
ever
oh
changing.
Taylor Swift is dominating everything, right? Like, I never listened to no fucking Taylor Swift song. I mean, you hear that shit, from other people playing it, but it's just like, what? That's really the top 10 right now. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of it's a rotating, evolving door, yeah, it's just
We'll just
hard,
break it down. We'll break it down by season and ones that because like you said, One Piece is still ongoing, right? So it's like I could put One Piece and Naruto and Dragon Ball, all these like easily on a top 3 list, right? But 2 of those 3 are done. You know what I mean? Or I mean, unless you count Boruto, but they're done effectively, right? The show's are already out there. There's no more coming out. So I see what you mean there. But yeah, I think we could, like a top 15 of, I think that the top couple are going to be the obvious ones. Once people get to know us and they're listening,
sure.
You know what I mean? Those are going to be the ones that we draw from the reason we like Log Horizon. For me, right, it's Sword Art Online is where it started, right? Like we could just keep going and going and going about the video game aspect of this.
Oh shit, is that the one that fucking we got into at Sword Art Online? Was that
might
like the
be
first
now
one
that
you got me into?
It might have been, to be honest. You're right, because that
It totally it like was not coming to mind, and now that you said that, I was like, oh fuck, dude, I think that was like the first one we really kind of started watching. You're like, oh dude, you gotta watch this shit. It's crazy.
Those first 12 episodes, I mean, the whole thing, even when they go to the ferries and shit like that, but the first 12, I'm going to go out, I'll say it right now in recording, might be hands down one of the best 12 episodes made out there in anime. Like the love story, I mean, if you like video games, right, you have the immediate connection getting connected to the video game, the action itself, the scenery, the anime, everything, the music, like it all fucking hits, dude. And I'm like, I've rewatched that at least 3 times by now. The first 12 episodes, like it's that fucking good for me. So yeah, you might be right. That might have been the first one that got us like back in the swing of things back in the day in college. But yeah, so I think that's kind of maybe the direction we'll go. Is we'll rank our lists of our top 15, and then maybe because the 15 will give that's like the fringe compared to what other shows I'm sure out there are doing with top 10 because it's kind of standard. And then, maybe some honorable mentions, and then maybe we'll break it down into a segment where we're like, hey, yeah, this is what we're watching right now. You know what I mean? And then as we progress from there and people really get an understanding where we're coming from, then we can kind of like go, Chainsaw Man's the newest one. Okay, hey, we're going to watch it and review it and all that kind of shit. That's kind of where I see it going.
Yeah. No, I think that's probably, and again, there's some variations in between that, right? You kind
Absolutely.
of think, you mentioned, right, One Piece got the movie out right now. Maybe it's like, oh, hey, we're touching on some of the movie animes and, specific ones or ones that we've watched, whatever. No, I think it just came out like fucking on Thursday.
Oh, did it? So yeah, that would be a great one for me and you to watch because yeah, we're huge fans of that show and we can talk.
I don't know that. I don't think it's on Funimation or Crunchyroll or anything. It's out. It's that's how big that's just gotten now. It's in theaters, dude.
Because Demon Slayer, I remember that. Yeah, the movie when that came out. That's something we're gonna have to talk about. That movie's fucking. That shit's in theaters
right now. Yeah, so.
And that's right. That speaks to the culture change we're talking about. Like that shit was when we were kids, anime in theaters. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, right. You can never see that shit.
Yeah, dude. You have to go to. I don't know where you have to go to, but definitely wasn't there. Oh yeah, dude. We have to, the thing we're gonna do too is we'll have to make fake sponsorships. You know what I mean? We'll have to look some stuff up, and we'll do like a little skit, and then we'll send it out to those people, and then they'll be like, oh shit, yeah, like we'll fucking sponsor these guys. And when we're talking about the shit name for the podcast, you know what I mean? Like get Bidet to sponsor us. What would we do for anime? I mean, hey, shout out Crunchyroll. We pay our subscription fee on time all the time. I have a couple gripes with you guys, but would love to get sponsored, so we can put all that anime content on our shit without fucking having to worry. That'd be sick. Maybe I'll send this clip to you, this little segment at the end and see if you guys will fuck with us.
That's funny. That being said, we're about to hit the hour, so I'm going to stop it just in case.
Is it over already? Thank you for listening. Follow us on our handle at highlyanimatedp. Go to YouTube, hit the subscribe and notification bell to see our new episodes. See you guys next time.